We're on. How do I transition this over?
You do all you want to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Seamless.
Tuesday night at Weekend Warlords.
Yeah.
First up, we've got Shane Hibbard versus Ian Kafka. And your commentators, I'll let them introduce themselves. Check them out. Look, here's the... Let's transition that. Bosh.
Cool. So, yeah, it's me. It's Steve Theobald.
Yeah, and it's me, Tim Marsden.
So, Tim Marsden of what fame?
Well, very recently, as of the weekend, UK Team Championship champions.
So where'd you finish there?
We did all right. Yeah, we did.
all right.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Finished first. Yeah.
That's good.
Got these two guys that
There's two hangers
carried
on.
me all the way. No.
The two hangers on, the ex-European champion and the world champion.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Those guys.
Yeah,
they're all right,
so.
aren't they? Yeah, they know what they're talking about.
Okay, so let's see what we've got going on here then. So we'll talk more about that in a bit, if that's okay.
You can do. Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
I wasn't expecting it, I'll be honest.
Really?
So, yeah, well, I agreed to do this commentary before that all happened, and now I'm going to have to sit here
Now
and
you're
talk
gonna-
about it.
Now you're going to have to sit
And
there
try
and
not
say
to
how
sound...
good you are.
Well, yeah, well, maybe. 7 ties are good. I'll definitely tell you about that.
Tim actually bought me a present back from the weekend, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So, Rich Campsall's listening. Yes, not the Tim Marsden. No, not the Tim
No,
Marsden.
I don't know. Is there a the Tim Marsden?
No, I think
you
Tim's
sure?
not unique.
Are you sure you're not translating from German? Because that would be Die Tim Marsden.
Die Tim
Just
Marsden,
checking.
yeah.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't
Do you
it?
know what? I'm going to remember that.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
So next time we interact online,
You can say translate it into German.
in German, Die Tim Marsden.
Die Tim Marsden, yeah.
Bracket, not German really. Bracket.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, so what have we got then? So we've got Kafka, Ian,
Oh, yeah, talk about the game.
the bearded Jew, apparently. That's what he's called himself now.
Okay, fair enough. As long as he's calling himself that.
If it was a,
All right,
if it
yeah.
was a, that would be his wrestling name apparently.
Well, I was wondering whether someone was going to get suplexed through this little desk as we sit here commentating.
So Ian
Look at
has,
the puppies, JR!
yeah. Oh my God, they've broken him in half. I've got a bit of a throaty thing going on at the moment.
Me too as well.
That's nothing to do with Tim, by the way. But yeah, I've got a bit of a cold, so I dragged myself out of my deathbed. I mean, you're on the stream after this.
We are, yeah.
Just playing a
Yeah,
game
the
which
gauntlet's already been thrown down.
which you are going to win.
Me and Steve... I can't say that.
I can.
Me and Steve have engaged in some healthy...
Healthy online banter.
What's it called? Help
Chit
me out.
chat. Trash talk.
Smash talking, yeah, trash talking.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, trash talking.
Right, so
Online.
should we? This is the way it's going to go. Right, so what we've got is we've got Ian with Old Terry with Fearless, pretty standard build.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Old Terror.
To be fair, Guri with outmaneuver, and interestingly he's gone for collision detector, not advanced sensors.
I think that's a points thing. How many is he in total?
He is.
We don't know.
No, he's 100.
Don't make us do maths, Ash.
He's 180 something. Look. So let's round it.
Yeah.
Tim Trash Talk King, Jake Bale.
He knows.
He
He knows what it's at.
Yeah, because he's been subject to the viciousness of your tongue.
You have. I took you down.
Do you know what? It was one of those TLDR moments. I just didn't read the
Did
reply.
you genuinely not read it? Oh, I put a lot of effort into crafting that as well.
So Guri, let's say Guri's 70, Old Terry is 50, 60, and Palab's 60, 70, 60, 60. What? It's 190 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 185 on the bid.
I'm just sat here nodding, by the way, while Steve does his Rain Man impression, because I haven't got a clue. I could get my calculator out of my pocket anyway, but I think that's for a bid. So you're looking at collision detector rather than that.
What? He's got 185 though. That's not a bid.
Well, then
surely.
he's a madman. So, but collision detector's good. Collision detector's really good on Guri. Lets her do a lot of crazy things with the barrel roll and the boost.
Yep.
So, no, you can expect to see Guri doing some awesome outmanoeuvring.
And then we've got Mr. Control himself in this current meta. It's Palob. Godalhi.
Yeah, Paolob's just insane.
Yeah.
He's crazy good.
So Debris Gambit L337, or a lot of people are calling that Elite now.
Yeah.
They?
Yeah,
Is
Elite.
that some kind of gamer talk?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it was how you wrote it in GameSpeak as well. It means that you've got the most proficient of skills.
Ah.
Yeah. You are elite.
Well, Ian shouldn't be flying it, really, should he?
I can't. We'll watch this game and find out, won't we? Yeah.
I think
certainly, given what Ian's flying, a lot of his pilot abilities might not necessarily be that great. I mean, Paylob can steal a focus from one of the Zealous recruits, and then hopefully he can smash it with all 3 of his ships. But he's not going to be looking to steal or get rid of a lot of tokens.
Yeah. So I mean, Paylob goes well. Pretty much everything except what I've found calculate lists.
Yep.
So droid lists.
Yep.
It struggles a little bit, but Mouldy Crow's good for just bolstering those focuses and getting the action economy early on in the game. What's the sharp intake of breath?
Wow, that was an
Have
interesting.
you just seen Shane's list?
Well, no, should we talk about Shane's list first?
If you want, yeah,
And then,
we can do. I'm more interested in the sharp intake of breath.
We'll talk about Shane's list first, and then we'll get there. So
I would
Shane's
have forgotten by that.
Shane's flying a freighter captain with feedback array, Han Solo, proton rockets, static discharge vanes.
Yeah.
So basically, he can.
I've just worked out what that can do.
Yeah. So basically, if he gets a, well, I'm not sure actually. Ooh,
Well, what
we
he's-
might have a controversial moment here.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, there is a bit of controversy around static discharge vanes and feedback array.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
but the static discharge vein says when you would receive an ion or a jam token. No, an ion token. Is it an ion token?
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can get something.
Ooh, we're going to give you some technology.
We
here.
might have some tech. Let's.
Yeah. Anyway, so Shane's going to be looking to manoeuvre that. Hello, we're back. Shane's going to be looking to manoeuvre that freighter captain into a position where it can block, take tokens off of Ian's list, and then he's going to hammer him with 3 fang fighters, or as many fang fighters as he can get in arc. So Terok moving that one hard to the right, to the left, sorry, is now going to be in front of the freighter captain. So whereas if he'd carried on down that side, Shane didn't have great position to be able to come through those rocks at him.
No, because he's already committed to the first rock on the left.
Yeah, exactly. So Terok's got to either sort of bait and switch, or he's got to come in fast. So
there's static discharge
I
veins.
can see static.
So before you would gain 1 ion or jam token, if you are not stressed, you may choose another ship at range 0 to 1 and gain 1 stress token. If you do, the chosen ship gains that ion or jam token instead. So let's also have a look at feedback array, yeah?
Yep.
And then you can talk me through how those two interact. So feedback array on the screen there. Before you engage, you may gain 1 ion token and 1 disarm token.
Yep.
If you do, each ship at range 0 suffers 1 damage. Fine. So if you gain, I would say, and I'm probably doing it totally wrong because I always am with rules discussion. I would say that after that first full stop, when you gain 1 ion and 1 disarm token, that's when static discharge would kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he would then give that away.
Yep.
And then would the range 0 suffer damage?
See, that's the question
Because you haven't actually
gained an ion token. So yeah, so basically the second half of feedback array says if you do, and the thing it's referring to is gain 1 ion token and 1 disarm token.
Yeah.
So if you only gain one or the other, you haven't gained one of both. And if you gain neither of those, you haven't gained one of both.
So what you're doing is you're sacrificing giving an iron away for damage.
Correct. Yeah. So you basically you would suffer a damage yourself and a disarm token to give them an ion token. However, it's their game. We'll let them play their game. It's the early days of 2.0, and actually, there's nothing to say that is 100% correct.
Yeah. Well, there was interestingly on that. It was good to see that FFG have put some up on their forums, haven't they?
Awesome! Yeah, the speed at which they are answering rules questions is pretty amazing.
I think that's actually going to be healthy.
Yeah, I mean they've just dropped a ton of content on us, and there are bound to be questions that come up about this and that. I mean, a lot of it is about clarification. Some of it they've had to change. But you know, they've got a pretty comprehensive rule set on their hands at the moment, and updating it at that speed means that we're not going to have to wait very long to find out answers to 200 comment threads on the UK.
No, you're
group,
right,
so.
and I also know that you're involved in one of the Facebook rules questions groups.
Oh yeah, only as an admin though. I'd only tell people.
Sorry, let me just tap back on that. Only as an admin.
Yeah.
So
that just basically means that I let people in the group and tell them to stop arguing. It's nothing. It doesn't mean that I have any lofty credentials or any authority.
Is that the reason why I've not been let in the group?
You haven't asked, have you?
No.
You don't ask, don't get. You could come in a heartbeat. It's open to everybody. So the group that Steve's referring to is Stephen, I know. So the group that Steve's referring to is the X-Wing miniatures game rules group. So it was set up by I'm going to butcher this horribly. Chris Sheriff. It was set up by Chris Sheriff, and it's just a place to ask rules questions. Doesn't matter what those questions are. For the sake of our sanity in there, if you could look in the rules reference first, and we understand that sometimes stuff's hard to find and things like that, and then generally you'll get...
It is harder to find if you are totally lazy like me.
It's very true, yeah.
And I've got Tim Marsden playing on the table next to me, and I go, Tim, what's this ruling?
Steve loves it when I stand over his games and say, I don't think you can do that, Steve.
Yeah.
So this is a prime example, but, hey,
I don't.
Who's to say I'm right? We'll find out, won't we?
I don't.
He doesn't love it.
Captain Rex, hi, he's tuned in.
Hello Marty!
How you doing? We're all
we
good
love you, Marty.
this end. So we got halfway through talking about Shane's list, but it's not really a very... complicated
it wasn't a
list,
complicated
isn't it?
list after that, no.
So he's got protons and anti. So the idea for Shane is to bump with the Falcon and then...
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting that he's held it back, actually. So I'm enjoying this already. Shane's up to something, and Shane is a hell of a player. He's a very good player. I think Rasta was just chatting with Ian, and yeah, he's very good. So Rasta was just chatting with Ian, and I think they were talking about... So Ian made day 2 at Euros this year, I believe. So, and Shane was top 4 at last year's European Championships. So, you've got 2 good players on the stream, and whatever Shane's up to.
They won't be listing my credentials like that
You're
on the next...
store champion, aren't you, sir?
No, I'm not. No, I'm a tournament champion.
Oh, you're a
but
tournament champion. I thought it was a store championship. But
no.
It could have been a store championship.
So my store championship thing this year, this season...
You had a pretty good season towards the end.
Towards the end?
Yeah.
Towards the end of 1.0. So I managed to win 4 sets of range rulers.
That's awesome.
2 for top 8 and 2 for top 2.
That's amazing.
And I didn't win one.
You didn't win one.
No,
I
came second.
But you were second.
Second twice.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, I was really enjoying 1.0, and then FFG just went and changed it. So Nick Bond, hi Nick.
I get my flu shot free from work, Marty. So yeah, I should be getting that shortly. Hopefully, I won't pick anything up from Steve before then. So
not at all, mate. Not at all. You can't get what I've got. So Docking Bay 94 evening. How you doing? Do you know who that is?
I don't.
No. Do you know there's some randoms on it?
Mysterious. No, I like
that,
it though.
That like to give me abuse.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
If you're a random on here listening, give Steve abuse, but particularly during our game, please.
No.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm never going to go back and watch it.
That's YouTube though. It's not Twitch chat. So you'll be all right.
Twitch what?
Twitch what?
Are you allowed to say that?
I just think I just did,
Twice?
Intentionally or otherwise.
Yeah.
I think that just happened. So we should probably talk about the game a little bit here. So Giri is in a prime position for outmaneuver. She's got a choice of, I think she can shoot that fang that is target locked. So yeah, that could be a little bit of pain for that fang fighter, even through the rock.
So what are you thinking about the new target locking system? We're just using small tokens with numbers on.
Yeah, I like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I get really confused.
Yeah, I think.
I still like to use the old way.
It's Nick. Of course it's Nick. Yeah, because that was your blog name, wasn't it, Nick?
Oh, hi
hello.
Nick. Hi.
Hello.
Hi Nick. So
Nick, because everyone obviously tunes into Warlords for rules questions, would you just weigh in on your opinions on static discharge vanes and feedback array?
Yeah, that'd be interesting actually.
Yeah.
And for those that aren't watching on YouTube and don't see that comment come up, we will regale.
We will in full detail with proper punctuation and grammar and everything for you. So, sit on the edge of your seats.
It's because like me, you've got me right. That's commentating on this.
So that's a crit into.
I don't know what it is.
One of the zealous recruits. We don't know what it is.
Don't know what that crit is. They'll update the app and it should tell us. They should tell us.
That is a fuel leak. They do not like them. Ooh. That's going to be painful later on. Yeah, fuel leak's horrible. Yeah, absolutely horrible.
Can you action that off? You can action it off.
Yes, I think you can. Yeah. It's bolded,
yeah.
So it's a bit like a weaker version of. Help me out. What's the old crit?
What?
That you rolled for? Major explosion.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like a weaker version of the major explosion, but you've kind of got sort of more. Direct hits.
So we were
in the
at
deck
yeah
because
we
of
were
that.
at UKTC,
Yeah.
and I was playing in Ryan Sharp and Tom Iveson's team.
Yep.
Right. And Tom had a decimator on the table. It's flying a deci, and I think it had like only taken 3 or 4 damage.
Yep.
And he got fuel leak. He took 4 crits. Fuel leak into fuel leak into fuel leak.
Yeah, that's where.
into double damage, and then it was left on like 2 hull.
Yeah, that's where fuel leak is brutal. Just the fuel leak, chain reactions.
It
You
was
know, the
ridiculous.
hull breach, fuel leak,
Yeah.
dead, decimator in
Yeah.
you know, like 2 shots.
It's,
Yeah, it's just horrible. You know.
So the fundamental changes for me in 1.0 over 2.0, sorry 2.0 over 1.0, is literally the brutality of, the fact that you can't mod dice as much,
Definitely.
the brutality of the crits,
Yeah.
and the way that the defense has kind of been nerfed in a lot of respects.
Yep.
So you can mod attack more than you can mod defense. I think that was always the case in 1.0 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's
Yeah.
become greatly more weighted. I'd agree with all that. I mean, so yeah.
So
I mean,
what
attack
game
dice.
style did you think that plays to? You know, like obviously we've got like Shane here's got kind of a mini swarm going on
Yep.
with his Falcon,
Yep.
and Ian's got 3 different ships, a bit of control, a bit of damage,
Yep.
a bit of manoeuvrability. You know, he's got a bit of everything in there.
Yep.
So with the new kind of way that 2.0, I'm interested to know what your opinion is on what will be doing well in this current kind of early stages of 2.0.
That's a good question. I mean, I think
Thanks.
anything that can get double mods on its attack dice,
Hmm.
so double modifications on its attack dice, that's going to be really good, like very good. So red dice are already better than green dice because they have more results on them.
Yep.
And if you have a focus token or a target lock on top of that as well, then they're just a lot better. It compounds really.
Yeah.
The more red dice you can roll, you know, the better that is. And listen to the Minox; they'll tell you all about that. And I agree
really?
with generally what they're saying.
Yeah?
A couple
Okay.
of episodes ago, they had a good episode about what's good in 2.0. But if you can get double modifications, so if you can get focus target lock, or if you can get like a reroll and focus, or you know, like a calculate and a target lock, then you know you're going to be looking at doing pretty well. I think putting out. Yeah, everybody is playing
Yeah.
Paylob, and Paylob's pretty cool. I
That's
think.
Bonsai 15.
Yeah, Steve's talking about what's good, and I think the reason Paylob's good is because, well, like he's got the 2 arcs, which is pretty cool. It's hard to dodge. He's got a 3 dice primary, which is what you're looking at. If you're going to drop below 5 ships, I think you need to be looking at 3 dice primaries in there. Really, you know,
Yeah.
3 dice attacks. He also has an ability that takes modification away from an attacker and a defender. Like it does both, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then because of Mordy Crow, he still has tokens to modify his own attacks and his own defense. So Paylob is a pretty good. The reason why you're seeing
It's
a
quite
lot
tanky.
the reason why you're seeing a lot of him is because he does everything that you want a ship to do in 2.0.
Yeah.
The other option is you either swarm multiple small attack ships or multiple 3 attack ships that can focus, or the old saying, the best green dice are the ones you don't have to roll.
Of course, yeah.
And you take ships that can dodge arcs. I mean, the Fang Fight is an interesting combination of the two, because if you look at Old Terok, like Old Terok can dodge arcs if he needs to, but he can also, you know, go and take a focus at range 1 and roll 3 dice and have Concordia face off. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Old Terok, believe for me, is better than the dude.
Than
Fen.
Fenral. Yeah, I
Fen.
think it's interesting. I think that-
in this current way of doing things, in this current game state.
Yeah, I think Fen's still good. Fen is brutal. I mean, like Fen can dodge arcs because he's I6, so he's got that going for him. And there are a lot of I6s around at the moment. You know, people are playing Wedge, but he doesn't really dodge arcs. You know, he can.
No, Wedge
he
is
has the
damage,
potential
isn't
to.
it?
Yeah,
He's a damage output.
you're paying for his ability basically.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's a bit of Suntir knocking about. There's a bit of Vader, Han, but other than that, there's not an awful lot of I6s. So Fenral's got his initiative going for him, and you know, again, 4 dice, focus, Concordia face off, pretty good at range 1.
Just needs one bad evade roll though, and he's
Oh,
gone.
of course he does. Yeah, but that's too.
He's a glass hammer, really, isn't he? In a lot of respects.
Yeah, you can be if you put him in the wrong positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what about Guri? Because there's a lot of Guri about at the moment. You can see.
Well, so I just finish off about.
Yeah, sorry,
Old
sorry,
no, that's
dude. I
fine.
thought you'd done.
So Old Tarok's interesting because he's a lot cheaper than Fen. A lot cheaper than Fen. So you can get some good stuff in there with him. But also at the moment, like Imperials are pretty huge, and Imperials that aren't chucking bombs and missiles at you are relying on their tokens. So like bombers want barrage rockets.
Well, I was going to talk to you about imps and stuff in a bit, actually.
Yeah. So Old Tarok's really good against them. Defenders are immense at the moment. So like Old Tarok says, here we go. Here's that freighter captain.
Yeah.
He's come in. He's got an arc on
Fury.
Tarok if he bumps. And the freighter captain's come in for the block on Tarok.
Yeah. So Shane's obviously, he's just slow rolling that. But he hasn't got... Again, let's talk about the scum builds that are on the table.
Yeah.
Because obviously we can see like 4 Concord, Fang fighters
It's going to be close to that rock. He's all right, though.
on the table.
Yeah, he's fine.
You've got a bit of control and you've got a Guri doing Guri things. But what about the points cost on the scum YT versus what we're looking at on things like, do you know what the resistance ray is coming in? I think is about 102 points.
Have we seen that? Is this from the elite stuff?
Yeah,
is
from
it?
the elite
okay.
stuff.
I didn't really look at the elite stuff. But
The scum YT just seems to be really cheap.
it is incredibly cheap, and I think the reason why it's cheap is because you're not paying for that extra attack dice. And then,
but you can still get 6 in the right conditions.
And then you lose some shields as well. Like you can still get 6 in some conditions, but you're having to pay for those. But yeah, you don't pay for that extra primary dice.
But if you put that 12-point escape craft on it, then that's 2 extra shields for 12 points.
That's true, but then what does that take you up to? Like hand 60 something, is he?
Yeah.
So you're going up to like 80 yards. So yeah, I mean you're still a lot cheaper than the fact. I think I would expect that to go up in points.
Yeah, because they've just announced, haven't they? Just for people that are listening, that they're looking at 2 times per year.
Yeah,
to reassess the points. Is that right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so they're looking at.
To be fair, with FFG, we don't know anything's right until they publish it.
No, that's true.
But
we're looking at points adjustments twice a year. The first one in January.
Yeah,
I think they said.
So, yeah.
But also at that time there will be format adjustments. So extended. So not 2.0 in extended, there will be ships that will go kind of on a rotation list. So it's a bit like a ban list, but they will be excluded. You won't be able to put them in your squads. But then when the next points thing comes out, they might rotate back in, and some other things will get banned and go out. So we're going to look at quite a fluid extended format, and a more sort of stable and static 2.0 format that will change as new ships are released.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what they've done with the 2.0 is they've kind of future-proofed it a lot better, haven't they, than they ever did with the previous version.
Yeah, I think a lot of the changes have really helped in that respect. I mean, it's yet to see what's going to happen. I mean, the main issue is with the game design is that we're going to start getting into uncharted territory soon, and when you've kind of designed a game and they've released a lot of content and reskinned a lot of content, they're now going to have to look at new and interesting ways to play with those mechanics, or kind of slightly change those mechanics or break those mechanics, and then kind of you start having to try and push the boundaries without getting broken stuff, and that'll be the interesting thing, I think. Once we kind of see which directions they head in, what effects are too good, what effects are too not so good, we'll be able to see kind of what job the designers are doing. I mean, it's always enjoyable, and they've got the fact that it's a living game to update everything, which is the most exciting part of it. Because when they do make a mistake, they can correct it, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's really good for me, because I can just ring them up and say, do you know what, I can't fly this very well, make it easier, and they'll go, yeah, all right, Steve. That's no problem. So PJ Broughton's, hi PJ. I've been using Forlom Tyranny and tried them with Lando or Nim, and oh my, was Nim all sorts of better than the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, Nim's different. Try Nim and a Falcon is all I can say. That's a pretty good combination. But yeah, Nim's solid. Nim is really
I'm
good
flying
in
against you after this game.
Yeah.
I'm flying Forlom, Nim, and Palob.
Yeah,
I'm not very good with it, but we'll see.
we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know what you're flying, but I don't want to know, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And I'll let the other guys talk about that when we're on the stream. But
I think this is a lot of damage to.
Well, one of the
what on
fangs.
earth was that from?
So he's did the fuel leak kick in, and then all that triggered as a result?
I imagine so.
Oh yes. Hi. We played at Patriot in Sheffield. I was a Joustroy guy. That was a tough game. Yeah. It went to time, and I think I just nicked it on points with my Nim Soul list. But he was top pilot, really, really great at positioning, really good in trying to give me the kill box, to try and get me.
Yeah.
And those one agility ships, even with the Soul kind of double evades, debris gambit evades, all that sort of stuff in the old mechanic, he nearly.
So here we go. There's that Concordia face-off. He's just done a 4 dice into. He's just had a 4 dice attack into Tarok, and he's done no damage.
Yeah.
So he got hit, crit, and didn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we got. It's a bit of a kind of a stalemate kind of list, I think, because you're going to have a lot of the ships that are on the table now with very, very similar abilities. Like built-in abilities into the Concord Dawn.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be tough to try and get any damage through at all.
Yeah.
In this, but
yeah, definitely. Well, I've just played a game against Fen Rao.
Yeah.
And I'll just read this comment from PJ Broughton.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Steve doesn't want to talk about how good he is, but he is very good with that list, and he's played that list for a long time. And despite some other warlords laughing at him for choices of things that are in that list that feel very ashamed for doing so, they won't be named. We won't name them live on stream.
Anyway,
Tim
Marsden, the non-list commentator and laugher at my janky stuff that I put on the table.
We've had long chats about that, and apologies. And I did give you a bit of a hard time, and you proved me wrong. You did amazing with that list, and you deserve the tournament win.
I had some really good. Do you know what that list allowed me to do was to absolutely cane the tournament scene this year, get myself out there, learn literally what it takes to get good at this game. And more importantly, I met some incredible people.
Yeah, that's definitely what it's all about.
And for me, meeting those people, do you know what? The people I met won't even understand what that means in a lot of respects. If you read my blog, then you'll know about it. But
check out Steve's blog, by the way.
Really?
If you look in, check out Steve's blog. It's very good, very insightful.
Yeah.
If you want all of the latest, good squad lists, tactics and setups and asteroid placements and turn 0 strategies that you should be employing, don't check out Steve's blog. But check it out if you want a good read, and it's amazing actually. It's pretty good. It's very unique, and I'm enjoying reading every entry that you put up. Can you just plug it, please? Can you give us the name?
It's called What a Piece of Jank. So if you literally just type into Google if you type in medium, what a piece of jank. Medium is obviously the medium that I use.
I see what you did there. Yeah, that was good.
But the blog's called What a Piece of Jank. What a piece of jank. There's probably about 7 or 8 in the last sort of 5-6 months that I've been doing it.
Yep.
So nothing like it's all jank. Marty McFlyer. It's all jank. Everything's jank.
It is.
Do you know, I was thinking about that the other day.
You've got Steve on a tangent again. Let's have a quick check-in on this game.
Yes,
then.
go on, do it.
So I think Old Teruk took a point of damage from the feedback array, and then other than that, nothing much else happened apart from Shane losing that Fangfire. So Shane is losing the damage race quite heavily. Terok's going to be stuck there because he's ioned. So it's going to be up to Ian's 2 other ships to try and dig him out of the hole. I think Ian's got to start concentrating on that freighter captain.
Well, for me, I think he's got to pull Gurion a little bit quicker now.
Well, I mean, he's in position to, but he's definitely going to have to start targeting that freighter captain to try and kill it and free up Tarok. I mean, he's only got 3 more turns and Tarok's dead. So, you know, he's going to have to hammer it as much as he can, as fast as he can, really, and stop that happening to his other ships.
So
and then have Palob and Guri do what they do and go to work on his lower initiative ships.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Makes sense. So wouldn't he just like push Terok out there and then go take him away from the combat and
It can't.
reposition?
It is Ion. So Shane's going to go one forward. He's going to bump his own ship. He's going to bump Terok because Terok's on an angle.
Yeah.
And then Terok can only go one forward. And then in the engagement phase, Shane is going to feedback array him again and static discharge veins to move that Ion token over.
Yeah. So, but Shane's taken 1 damage on that. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, he took 1
is
shield.
he 8 and 3 on the shield?
Yeah, he's 8 and 3. So he lost a shield from the feedback array to do a point of damage and Ion old Terok. As we said before, look into the text of the cards, make your own minds up, and then wait for FFG to answer that question. But
I made top 32 at UK.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, well done on PJ. Well done, PJ Broughton on making top 32 at the UK Open. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's cool. Maybe I was all right at the game till 2.0 kicked in.
You're good at the game.
Listen, this isn't about me sitting here and trying to gain false adulation from you.
Okay, then. Well, then you're crap.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk the truth here. Yeah.
No, you are good at the game. Truth. You are a very good player. And,
I'm all right. I can push some ships around the board and throw some dice.
You can.
And get really angry that my green dice don't do anything.
And put your fingers in your ears, please, Marty. But I think you know that Skurg, the scum Skurgs, better than a lot of players in this country. So you can.
So I did put a different Sol and Nim list on the table when it first kicked in 2.0. I found it to be really soul destroying because they're medium bases. They're not as manoeuvrable.
Did he take a lot of damage?
Yeah, they take a lot of damage.
Soul
destroying. Yeah,
soul destroying.
It was a pun intended.
I got you.
That you picked it up.
I got it. Yeah.
That I'm trying to carry off now.
I've just highlighted it.
It wasn't intended at all.
It's got a bit awkward now. I'm just trying to.
Yeah. So back to the whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the 1 agility ships I'm finding are
surprised.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
What? Say again. Sorry. Go on.
The 1 agility ships, they're ridiculous for.
For dying quickly.
Yeah. Especially on the medium base, where a lot of small base ships are high damage output ships, X-wings, fang fighters, that sort of thing, and they just don't cope in today's. The bomb dropping phase is great, but it doesn't give you the surprise. The surprise attack. The fact that Genius now is only bombs and it's not mines doesn't give you that kind of I'm going to move in. Hurrah! Here's a proximity mine.
Well, I think if you're talking about one defense star ships or 1 agility ships, I think you've got to look at what historically has done well. So it's either stuff that's ridiculously efficient. So like the Lambda shuttle. Yeah. So the Lambda shuttle's 1 agility dice, but that with Emperor Palpatine is just a ridiculously cheap ship for what it does. And rolling that 1 defense dice with 10 health stays around pretty long. B-Wings always did alright because they were 1 agility. I mean, this is back in Wave 3, which is we're kind of in a sort of parallel Wave 4 land from 1.0, I think now, where a lot of the kind of basics are true that were true then, but the design's gone in a completely different way, and there is a lot of stuff that is the equivalent to sort of the Wave 4 the Wave 4 Phantom, the Wave 4 Defender, the Z95, the stuff that was starting to make things obsolete. So the other things that have done well at 1 agility are stuff like Han, who could stack so much defence it was untrue. Or
the resistance Nim. Han is going to be doing that.
Well, yeah, or Nim, because so Nim front loaded all his damage, and Nim's defence was, yes, I've only got 1 agility, but I've got 10 health, and I will just remove the ship that is going to be the biggest threat to me within a couple of turns, and then hopefully I'll have tanked it, and then we'll move on to the next ship, and I'll just keep doing front loaded damage until I can take.
And obviously turrets were a lot more efficient in 1.0 than they are in 2.0.
Well, yeah, they were. Yeah, definitely. I think certainly turrets have had a massive paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like turrets used to be a kind of pillar all on themselves. It used to be kind of in the very basic rock paper scissors model. It used to be turrets beat aces, aces beat swarms, swarms beat turrets.
Yeah.
But now I think the turrets have got lumped in with the aces. That they're just about manoeuvrability, and they are about kiting and flanking and outmanoeuvring your opponent to get a shot with that turret where they can't shoot you. But you can't just do that by dialing any manoeuvring.
No.
Now you've got to think about your arcs. You've got to think about the position of your opponent's ships, and I think they've moved into that AC kind of list. And whether you're an efficient ace like Suntia Fel or Fen Rao or Han in the Scum Falcon because he's ridiculously cheap, or whether you are a a more sort of tooled up ace like Guri or Vader or those kind of models. I think definitely that's the pillar that they occupy now for turrets.
So there's a lot of dice being thrown.
We have no idea what's going on.
No,
in the game,
I mean
Shane's
taken quite a bit of damage on the freighter now. So you obviously
I need
Ian.
to talk quieter, don't I?
I was going to say Ian's obviously done exactly what you said to do, and he's moved Guri in just to keep putting that constant damage in through onto the YT.
Yep.
But you're right. Terok didn't take another damage in that round by the looks of things. So I don't know what Shane's done there.
I don't think he's engaged yet. I think he's not got round to the
Fine.
freighter
So there's a
captain
double
yet.
blank now. It's going to hurt. Double blanks always hurt.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Paylob, so Paylob's going to take a bit of damage.
So ion turret or nothing, Marty is saying on the Gurgs.
Dorsal turret's very good.
Yeah.
Dorsal turret's very good for 2
I agree.
points. For 2 points less.
I agree.
But the iron turret's good. They're both. I think they've done. That's one thing that Fantasy Flight have done a pretty good job at is pointing upgrades in 2.0. Like you've got a real choice between dorsal turret and ion turret now.
Yeah.
Your ion turret is going to punch through 3 agility, 2 agility more often than the dorsal turret. But the dorsal turret will only. But the ion turret will only ever do 1 damage, whereas the dorsal turret has potential to be cheap and potentially do damage at range 1.
Yeah, well, it's a 2 dice attack,
2 dice turrets are awesome
right?
in
So
2.0.
so if you compare that to things like the TIE fighters, all the kind of the imp ships, the swarmy type ships that have only got a 2 dice attack.
Yep.
As long as you take enough of them, then you're going to put some serious damage through. But Nim and bombers,
yeah, okay,
right?
We'll get to that in a minute, Doddy D.
yeah. Nim and bombers is different because your play style is one of not wanting to engage as a joust. It's about board control.
It is.
It's about putting stuff down to force the swarm to go where you want it to.
It is.
So for me, it's normally you're going to have Nim with ships behind unless you slow roll him.
Yep.
And when you slow roll him, then Traj Sim is an absolute must, for that board control. But when you're playing more aggressively and you can go through the first attack, hopefully you'll just take 1 joust before you can get behind them.
Yep.
Then that's when your bombs come into their own. For me.
Yeah.
But I just haven't worked that out just yet on what the build needs to do for the way that I want to fly it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm struggling. So I've got Nim in my list tonight, which I'm playing you against.
Well, there's a little bit of spoilers from Doddy D's comment, which we'll come on to. So
Except Han Solo Gunner, far too cheap. So that's the guy that takes a stress and does
gives you a
focus.
focus action.
And if you've got Perceptive Co-Pilot, gives you 2. Yeah? So you're running that.
I've got So sorry, Doddy D's just said we were talking about the points on upgrade cards, and Doddy D on the YouTube chat has just said Han Solo Gunner is far too cheap, and I think I'd agree with that.
4
definitely.
points, is it?
Yeah, he's 4 points. So if you look at Push the Limit in old money, that was 3 points. And Han Gunner is only 2 points, so they've kind of said he's equivalent to Push the Limit, but you can only take a focus action, so he's more limited, so we'll reduce the cost.
Yeah.
But I think he probably should be 6 points, not 4.
Yeah.
Because to take him on take him on Boba Fett, which is where you're seeing him now, you do have to pay a 3-point tax, but you're getting a reroll for those 3 points, so you don't really feel.
And this is the thing for me. That's why I really like talking to you. That's a genuine comment.
Thank you.
Because you kind of go through the stuff which I don't really consider. I'm sure a lot of people out there don't consider as well. So points economy for what you're getting on that card, for what you're putting on your ship. So what does it do for those points? So when you look at things like, how do you quantify force tokens then? So if you look at Vader, 14 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a regenerable focus token, let's say.
Oh, crew, Vader crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So he's got a regenerable
Yep.
focus token, because that's what it is. So why is that 14 points? Because it's literally it's an action.
So.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
it
so
allows
the-
you to.
I
Sorry, it
think
allows you to take a second
it does.
different
I think
action.
I think crew that give you force or ship or pilot cards that have the force ability already.
Yeah.
I think you pay a premium, and it looks to be around 10 points for that force token, and I think that's because. So it's a passive modification. You don't have to do anything to do it. Yeah, PJ, yeah, 000 is in the same camp as Han Gunner. He is pretty awesome for 3 points. I think he's not a kind of auto include on a lot of ships, but on the ships that make use of him, he's very, very good. Spoilers.
So you've got him as well.
I might have. So what were we talking about? Force upgrades.
Yeah, force upgrades.
So force upgrades so you're looking at paying about a 10-point premium for your force point, and then you get an ability on top. And what you have to then is make an interesting choice between keeping the force to modify dice or using the force to use the ability on the card.
Yeah.
However, that force token comes back every round.
Yeah.
Every single round you get that force token back, and you don't have to do anything for it except for persist. If you were on the table and you've spent it, you get it back.
You're going to start every round with the force.
and it is very, very good. But you pay a premium for it, and I think the reason why you're not seeing force everywhere is because you are only seeing force on the ships that where that cost is made up in power level.
Yeah.
So you're seeing it on Luke, you're seeing it on Vader, you're seeing it on Vader crew, you're seeing it on what are the force users that are getting played at the moment, Steve? Inquisitor, Grand
Well,
Inquisitor crew.
you've got the crews like Seventh Sister.
I don't think she's seen much play though, but certainly not around here anyway.
I know because the original list with Soul Sixer with Maul on, I know that Marty was flying that. I sent that list to him.
Yeah, Maul is interesting. Maul's really good. I think.
I'm not sure about the third ship on that list though, Marty. But Sarge, I've not seen a lot of Sarge.
I haven't seen a lot of Sarge. I think she's very expensive. Very expensive for what she does. But then, it might take the right combination of upgrades, or in the next points readjustment, she might come down, 3-5 points, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. Grand Inquisitor crew is very good. We haven't seen much of the Grand Inquisitor pilot. He's certainly not at the heights that he was before. No.
Because you have to spend a force to get that range bonus now, don't you?
Yeah.
So
I mean, the thing with all these things that are very good is that you're looking at cost, but you're also looking at opportunity cost.
Yeah.
So you're looking at if I equip this crew slot, what crew slots am I giving up?
Yeah.
If I take this 16-point upgrade, what could I get a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th ship with those points by dropping a few upgrades? And I think in 2.0 we are very much back to the lands of sort of Wave 3 X-Wing of 1.0 where you probably want to shave upgrades and play an extra ship.
Yeah.
I mean, there are lists that can get away with it. And,
well, there's a lot of
Bobba Guri's been tearing it up everywhere at the moment. But
I think so, but I think just kind of segues into what I was going to say was, generally speaking, what you were seeing lots of swarms on the table, whether that be 7 quads or 8 TIE fighters or whatever it may be.
7 TIE fighters was all right.
Well, I don't know why, but I think you played that at the weekend, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah.
So there's that, but then you've got there's some real solid 3-ship builds out there at the moment, and I don't think the 2-ship builds are quite cutting it. So I was chatting to Rasta earlier actually, and Rasta basically said exactly the same as what you just said. It may be worth skinnying up a few ships to get extra firepower on the table.
I agree. I mean, if you look at the lists that we flew at the UKTC, Sim was playing like an efficient Paylob. He was playing a Paylob with upgrades, but Paylob is really good. He was playing a Han with upgrades, but Han is cheap and really good.
Yeah.
And then he had got a decked out Nim.
Yeah.
But then the other 2 lists, we played 7 ties, and it was Howrunner, Iden, and 5 academies, and that was it. Like there was not a single upgrade card in that list because like you can take elusive, you can take. I'm trying to think what else you might be able to get. You can take elusive, you can take swarm tactics, but I think just paying the points for the cost for the sake of paying the points. It isn't as good as people think. I think just having no upgrades. I mean, I think I'm becoming a bit. My list is going to be. Oh no, my list is quite upgrade light tonight as well, actually. But I think I'm going to get a reputation because I was playing 2 deltas and a lambda with Palpatine. So there was literally like 1 upgrade card in that. In fact, I was joking around here saying I've paid 200 quid for 2.0 stuff, and I was using 4 bits of cardboard. So
yeah, well, they've got big windows, mate. They see you coming. That's what it is. So there's a bit of an update in the game. Do you know what this isn't vastly different to when I normally commentate and stuff.
That's fine. I mean,
we don't really talk about the game. We talk about the game, but not the game that's playing. We just talk about what they've done and how it kind of would affect the bigger wider world. So PJ Brown said, I also agree about the 2-ship lists being overrun. Dash is the only ship in the 2-ship build that's really impressed me and made me think that 2-ship list could cut it. But then again, Dash is ridiculously expensive.
He is. Rasta's been playing a dash list. I think he's working on something. I won't go into it, but I think he's working on something.
That's the Warlords embargo. We're not allowed to release any Rasta lists until
I think he's enjoying Dash. I mean, he knows that he's not as good as he was in 1.0. Dash isn't as good as it was in 1.0. But he's working on something, and I think we're getting close. We might be able to push through.
So I played Rasta last Tuesday. He beat me, but then I found out he'd been cheating.
Well, we won't go into that.
No, it's fine. It's all friendly cheating.
You definitely,
but he did cheat.
You definitely get that game back then.
Yeah.
He's not in here,
so it's struck from the record books.
So it's fine. Although they are watching on a big screen TV. And,
they are, aren't they?
Hopefully they haven't got sound on it.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Well, they won't, because if they heard our commentating, then that would be pretty silly. Well, to be fair, we haven't really said anything about the game.
We haven't said anything about the game. We could say anything.
Yeah, nice. Dash fires 9 dice over 2 shots. Yeah,
he can cool. PJ, and again, we're not going to go into that. It's so just because of
Gura's picked up a damage sensor array.
Ooh, that's a bit nasty.
Palob's lost his shields.
Yeah, thinking about it. So a couple of rounds ago, Ian did a pretty good.
Well, I thought the Falcon was going to go. To be fair, I thought that I'm surprised it's still on the table.
It won't be long. It's got a hull breach and it's got 3 hull left. Palob's in a position to shoot it this round.
Yeah.
Guri's doing the right thing and bugging out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So so the third ship in our team was Rasta, who was unstoppable on the day. He was absolutely amazing, and he was playing Super Luke and 4Zs, and Luke is just insane, and that's amazing. See, I love that about 2.0. That the ships that we're talking about are Boba, Han, Luke, Vader.
Yeah.
TIE fighters.
It's like it's gone more thematic. Back to
awesome. They should be the stuff that we're talking about. They should be the ships that are doing well, and then they are better than a lot of ships, but they're not way over the top. They're beatable, definitely, and I'm enjoying this dynamic at the minute. It's in a good place.
So let's talk about UKTC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So you won.
We did.
Let's get it out there.
We did. Yeah.
So the team was you, Sim, and Rasta.
Yeah.
And you were the only team on the day to go 5-0.
We were. Yeah.
Out of the 5 that you played.
Yeah.
What were you? 4
went 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And Sim went 3-2. And Rasta went 5-0.
And Rasta went 5-0.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, the last couple of 3 rounds they were really tough, as I understand it. I was keeping the morale up on the bottom tables.
Yeah, they were. I mean, we played some fellow Warlords. We played Ben Dillon's team, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, cool.
And very enjoyable. And I played against. Oh, his name's gone now. I should have written some names down, shouldn't I? Really?
Terrible.
And I've forgotten. I apologise. I do know your name. I'm going to say Dave, but I played another Dave in round 1.
He didn't win.
Yeah, but
so he's not important to you, is he?
That's harsh. I mean, Steve said it. I didn't say that.
Oh, it was a question.
Steve said that.
It was a question.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
We didn't say no.
So he was very unlucky, and we had an initial engagement where I caught Nora in the arc at range 3, and I had 7 ties. I had 4 ties at range 3, and after 4 ties at range 3 and 1 at range 2 shot, Nora was dead, and
Wow.
there was like a tie left over to
Just
do what it
to
wanted
shoot
and
some
still
else.
make an attack. Yeah, so it was an absolutely horrendous start to the game. So that was my round 3, and then round 4 we played the 186 squadron.
Yeah.
We played their
Was that Ben Lee's?
no, it was
team?
so they rather cleverly called themselves the 93rd squadron because they're half as good. Apparently, that's what they told us. They're not as good.
Oh right, so why didn't they call them the 59th squadron then? What do you mean?
You've lost me now.
Well, they're not. They're the 118, aren't they?
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. God, quick maths. You see, quick maths.
That was very quick maths. So yeah, so then we played the 93rd Squadron, and I mean those guys were awesome. Rasta had an amazing game against a ton of bombs and barrage rockets. Sim played a 7-ship swarm with his list and 200 nilled it.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, that game was insane. And then I played a very close game against James Dowdle of the 186 podcast. He was playing 4 barrage rocket bomber K-wings.
With Jonas? Oh no.
K-wings, yeah. So Rebels with
Wow.
K-wings, and they were awesome. They were slamming about all over the place, getting into position. And I think the game would have been even closer. And James probably would have won it if he'd have committed his 4th K-wing sooner. He kind of went in for a sort of flank, and I turned heavy to my left, and it left his K-wing out of position, and he couldn't quite capitalise.
So what you're saying is you outflew him?
No, well, just he had so he
Come on, Tim.
No,
so bloody.
You're not going to get that
middle
from
ground.
Me. You're not going to get that.
I know,
from
but
me,
it's not.
honestly.
I'm not going to.
No, James.
I'm not gonna
James is
stop
an awesome
trying
guy. That's the second time I've played against him.
Yeah.
And you know he's a brilliant player, and I enjoyed both my games against James.
So what do you think to the format as a whole?
I love it.
And because obviously Ian Wardle apparently he's changed his name now from Obi-Ian Kenobi to Mandalorian.
Yes, I like that. No, I love it, and a big shout out to those guys because that was absolutely amazing. It was very well run, very slick, and you know, to coordinate over 130 X-Wing players, especially when teams are quite often stood with one person at a table, tapping their feet, waiting for other team members to turn up. You know,
that was Ryan. He was always waiting for me.
So you know, because you know we're there for the community, so you do get carried away and you do chat, and there's 130 people that you know you might not have seen for a long time, and you're getting into it. So no, to marshal that many people and to organise that many people is amazing. But the format itself is brilliant. I'd love to play more team formats. The reason I played Swarm was because of the team format. I mean, we hadn't discussed tactics before the weekend, and Sim had played like 1 game with his list. I played 1 game with mine. Rasta had played maybe 2 or 3.
Sickening.
But the reason I played Swarm was because of the format, because we knew that there was always the potential for either for them to put me into a list that didn't have hard counters for the Swarm, or if I was taking one for the team, they could pick the matchups that they wanted. So yeah, that's why I decided on Swarm, was because of that format. The best thing about the format is that I played the 5 most relaxed games of X-Wing I have ever played, because there were 2 guys stood on my shoulder that I knew that were going to say, you know, oh, well done for that, or don't worry about it, let's get the next game in. You know, there were 2 guys, just 2 other guys there that you'd gone to as a team, that you bonded closer together, you were working towards something together, which is unusual for X-Wing. You know, you do cheer your squad mates on when you go to the big tournaments, but actively working together to achieve something was awesome. And like I said, very, very relaxing, very refreshing. I didn't feel the pressure that I normally put on myself when I'm playing a Swiss in a big tournament.
I think the Falcon's gone, just been gone.
Yeah, I think this game is.
I think
Ian's to take home. Really, he's still got old Terok on the table. We've still got Guri in a pretty good position.
So the bumping.
Paylob.
I always felt that bumping was a great tactic, but not when you've got 4 PS1s. Because if you got 4 PS1s, then which one are you bumping with? You could argue, do you know what, I'm going to bump with that, and then I'm going to switch it and bump with that one. But you're getting no tokens. And in a game which is heavily reliant on tokens...
Well, if the freighter captain's doing the bumping... I mean, I think Shane's going to change this list after we have a word with him about how the upgrades work in it potentially.
I'll tell him to keep it, because it might be something I can do.
So, you know, Yeah, I think if the freighter captain's doing the bumping, it's got a lot of health relatively. So then you've got 4. I mean, zealous recruits are awesome. Like, they are so efficient, like ridiculously efficient. And if you can get like them into range 1, range 2, they can do a lot of damage. Shane's biggest problem was that he's going to be losing his focus. He's having to target lock in this matchup. Otherwise, he would lose his focus, and that means he doesn't have the potential for defensive mods, and that's showing in the damage race. I think Ian is smashing this damage home.
Well, Ian's got 8 hull left on the table, and Shay's got 5 hull on the table. You know, so it's not overly out there. You know, there's 23 minutes left. I mean, if Shane can, so Shane has got half points on Old Terry. He's got, if he can take another 2 off of Guri, there's half points there.
I would expect something interesting from Guri this
and
turn.
One on
Palob. On if that crit's still on him.
Yeah. Well, no, he's removed the crit.
Oh, he took the crit off. That's good.
He's removed the crit.
Yeah, well, he's still got 2 charges on collision detector, so you might just see what Guri's going to do now. So Guri may do a 1 bank to his right or a 1 hard to his right. Yeah. And then activate that charge from collision detector, and then he can potentially barrel roll through that debris field.
So Shane's moving that out of the way, and then he's clearing one of the crits.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking to conserve points.
So I'm guessing he would have taken off loose stabiliser, yeah? Because you can't take off damage engine now, can you?
Yes, because he did a straight.
Unless you take Chewy Crew in Scum, that allows you to repair a face-up damage card.
Yes.
Which I think is...
No, is that Rebel? Or did it...
Scum Chewy.
Did they both do the same
4
thing?
points. Yeah, it allows you to...
Okay.
I think it's you like at the end phase.
I think that might have been one of the upgrades that I looked at and dismissed.
I might fly it then.
Probably. Yeah. That's normally how it works.
Tim doesn't like it. I like it. Just so he's got something to laugh at. That's all it is. Okay, so
miss you, PJ.
So apparently there's some other streams and stuff that have sprung up on a Tuesday night.
Is there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say where or why
because I don't. Rivals.
We have got rivals, but you know something. Just from a point of view of a bit of advertising, a bit of whatever, you ain't going to get better streams than the Weekend Warlords. We've got the best players. I mean, Ian's travelled up from London to come and play with us tonight.
Yeah, he does come.
You know, we've got the best players. Awesome. You can watch other streams and they'll do a complete list of all the accolades that people have won and all this sort of stuff. But then you look at who we've got in our store, and it's not a face-off or anything like that. Yeah, oldest bedtime back in 15. Oh, right. I thought your oldest was like 17. That's a bit early. Only joking. It's good for morale, apparently.
Interesting.
So, you know, to go on a stream and sort of go, do you know what, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this game, and we're going to edit it down all nice and slick. You want live games, you want the proper good chat, you want the best, from my point of view, and this is just my opinion, the best minds in the UK.
We've got some fantastic
We've got some
here.
fantastic
Absolutely phenomenal players.
If you haven't came up to Warlords to have the tournament, do you know what? Our weekend tournament sold out. Saturday and Sunday sold out.
Gone, have they finally sold them out? Yeah.
Sold out.
Look, if you get a chance, right, just get in early and get a ticket for a Warlords event because you will love it. You will absolutely have an amazing time.
Yeah.
It's well worth the travel to. Come and meet some of the guys, but really they're so relaxed. We'll take you down to Crawshaw's.
Yeah,
we'll
get some chicken.
20 chicken nuggets for £1 or whatever it is.
It's real chicken breast, none of your McDonald's rubbish.
It is real chicken breast.
Yeah. So you know, we've got 30 on the Saturday.
Yeah.
We've got 40 on the Sunday.
Yeah.
That's 70 X-wingers here at the weekend. We've got the world champions come into play. You're playing, aren't you? Sunday?
No, I'm not here.
No, you're not here.
No, I did it.
I might have a chance.
So I did my tournament this weekend. So I have 2 very small.
You got to pass out. Yeah,
I have 2 very small children, and I perhaps could have pushed it and tried to get in early to this event, but I enjoy being at home, to be honest. My children are insane, and I'm absolutely loving spending time with them.
Yeah, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
and you know what? When they're that age, 2 and 4.
Yeah, 2 and 4.
Something like that.
Yeah.
When they're that age, they're a joy. They are a joy. I spent some time with my little last weekend, and it was just amazing. I want to get him playing X-Wing soon.
Yeah.
But I fear he's just going to start throwing my ships about. You know, as much as we love our children, materialistic things do tend to take priority sometimes.
I mean, my eldest is pretty cool. We've played a couple of games of X-Wing. He smashed a ghost with some ties, and smashed some ties with Luke.
Yeah.
You know, so we've played a couple of games of X-Wing, and he enjoys it. He doesn't ask to play it yet, so
cut all ties with his dad for breaking his ships.
He's into a different couple of board games that we play at the minute. But no, definitely.
Sweet.
We've got off track. We were talking about coming down to Warlords, and we're on to the next generation of
but it's cool, you know, because the one thing that you'll see, and I'm sure the people watching, like people like Marty who've travelled up from Plymouth, to come and play with us. Yeah. And let's not say this is all one way. Excuse me, because it isn't. Because what happens? He's touching technology, everyone. It might go off. Because what happens is that we have a travelling contingency as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you guys are always at events.
So there's normally you'll see a Rasta around the country.
Rasta goes everywhere.
Kev. You know, I've started going on that. Ben Cox goes out a lot. We like to meet. You know, we've got some real kind of affiliations with a lot of the X-Wingers in the country. So if you're on the fringes of thinking, oh, it might be intimidating or anything like that, seriously, come and see me, come and see Tim if he's here, come and see Rasta. Just say hi. We'll make sure that you're all right. We'll make sure that you're looked after. There you go, Captain
I know,
Rex.
glowing endorsement there from Captain Rex.
Thank you for that, Marty. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Marty.
A weekend at Warlords was the highlight of our gaming year. Well worth the journey from the land of sliced bread.
And we loved having you. We loved having you and all your family.
It was the best.
And you should stay and move up this way, and we'll keep you forever.
Yeah. And as long as you keep the bald head and the beard, we'll be fine. You know, and do some random Clone Wars quotes. That'd be good.
There's always room for a victory or two.
There is.
There's always room for a victory. Ash has joined us.
Ash has just joined us, and
the
and
elusive
he thirds that. He thirds that. Come and live with us.
We're
live
just
in the store.
So when I talk about this sort of thing, when I'm doing this with Ash or with John, they get very uncomfortable because they are manager and owner of Warlords.
Okay.
So when I start saying how good it is to come to Warlords,
no, come to Warlords.
They're like, well, yeah, not really. I can't really say anything, but you know, yeah, we agree. But I'm not going to say it out loud. So no, but seriously, if you want, the setup here now as well, we've got now a TV in what's called the gaming hall. I love that. And there's a TV which will be showing the live stream of what we're commentating on now.
Yes.
So if we've got a big game of final or store championship, even a hyperspace coming up, you know,
who would give us a hyperspace?
Those sorts of things. Then what you've got is you've got an area where we can all just sit and watch.
Yep.
The hyperspace thing is amazing. I'm so looking forward to the hyperspace thing.
Yeah. What's one of them?
You are joking.
It's a regional, right? It's a regional.
So we got our own regional.
I don't know what they are. There's like hyperspace cups, hyperspace finals, hyperspace hyperspacers, space hyper qualifiers, hyper store qualifier championship,
store championship.
Yeah, I don't know what they all are. I'm getting old now. Like I feel like when they decimalised currency, I don't remember that. I used to laugh at my parents for it, and now I've got to remember what colours are what tokens are what colour, and
well, you can't do that.
Yeah,
I'm colourblind.
I don't like it.
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm shape blind.
I'm tell him that I'm shape blind.
So when it says remove circular tokens,
what's a quadrangle? What's a quadrangle token?
It's a square, isn't it?
What does that do?
Is that quadricangular?
A quadricangular. Yeah. That's him. Yeah, that's the
other made-up words are available.
I don't know what we're talking about now.
No, me neither. What I will want to talk about though is the Warlords. When I do these sorts of things, I feel obliged to sort of say what's going on, you know, at Warlords.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, of course you should.
You know, to the guys that are listening and watching and doing whatever.
Yep.
So this weekend is our first Veterans Weekend. So do you know about the veteran system?
I'm gonna say, no, Steve. I actually don't, by the way, but no, Steve. That sounds something like I would be very much interested in.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Let me tell you about it, Tim. So what? So what it is? So every tournament, because we have a monthly tournament on a Saturday and a Sunday every month, second weekend of every month. Tickets available online. Apart from this month, sold out, but next month will be up in the next week's time. There we go.
Yeah.
So what we have is a tournament which John and Ash are doing some kind of veteran thing. So if you win the tournament, you get a coin. And it's a proper minted coin and everything, right, with Weekend Warlords veteran on it.
Yeah.
So you get one on the Saturday, one on the Sunday. You can't ever win two. So if you come first 2 months in a row, the second place gets it.
Okay.
What that does is at the end of the year, there will be 24 tokens.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so we'll have like a
Then there's
like
10.
a qualifier,
There's
an invitational.
This is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So
lovely.
then we have the 10 that haven't got tokens but have the best MOV for the year.
Ooh, like
So,
a wild card.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to continue to come and play at Warlords, you will rack up your MOV,
That's
rack
very
up your
true.
MOV, so you still get a chance of getting one of those tokens. And this time next year, there's a 34-man tournament, the Warlords Invitational, Veterans
love it.
Invitational.
34, man.
Yeah.
That's a rather bizarre number.
Well,
I'll
I
go
think
with
it just sneaks into a 6 round.
Oh, I
instead of
see.
a
Yeah,
5
definitely.
round
Yeah,
six.
we want Swiss rounds.
So I'll be there because I
Excellent.
haven't got a veteran token. I probably won't
Yet.
get one, but I'll be talking a load of crap over the game.
Yeah, I mean that sounds awesome. I'm very interested in that, and we have some phenomenal players that travel to the
mate.
UK. So you know, like James Andrew Finlayson's won tournaments here. Luke
That guy's
Townsend has
Yeah, Fishy, he
yeah,
took
Fishy's-
2 goes to do it, mind you, but
No, here.
yeah.
Yeah, well, he's taken a lot of goes here, but,
he bought back
you
in. I just didn't tell anyone. What?
It's still too soon, Steve.
It's not too
It's
soon.
still too
It's not
soon.
too soon.
You'll be getting.
In
We'll
our
be getting.
he's in our chat
We're
group.
on Twitch. Don't forget.
Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
getting a lot of comments.
We'll he's in our chat group, our Warlords chat group.
Oh, I know Fishy won't mind you saying that. That's not what I'm talking
and Fish
about.
is basically saying in his nickname in the group. So James, right, when I was in France, James Finlayson.
Yeah.
We went out for food after the system opened in France.
Yep.
And he had 2 steaks, right?
Yeah.
And no word of a lie, they were massive.
Yeah.
And he polished a lot. So he's now henceforth known as James Two Steaks.
I was about to say, is that
Finlayson.
why it's James
Yeah.
Two Steak Finlayson?
So
I probably could have figured that out for
Fishy-
myself, but
Fishy, on the same token,
Yeah.
in our chat, is called Luke Two Chances Fish.
I like it.
So, yeah, literally the day after I messaged him, and the 2 chances thing was great. And you know what? He's taken it on the chin, and he's he's a deserving champion.
Oh, very, very,
The
very
people he
deserving.
beat.
I mean, he's had an
Did you
awesome
see the
season.
people he beat to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to
they've
that final
He
and
did
win
have a
it?
good route to that final. You know,
Wow.
He put a lot of hard work in, and you know, he knows that list very well. He's played it in the tournament, in the regional season. But yeah, my point was, you know, we've got a lot of awesome players, a lot of amazing players coming into the store for monthly tournaments. They travel, and so that 34 player tournament promises to be, you know,
It's
pretty
gonna be the
awesome.
best of the
That'll
best.
be streamed, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know you'll be able
yeah.
to see. You're looking at a Coruscant in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah,
There,
best
easily.
of the best.
Yeah,
and in
definitely.
between, we've got the Leia tournament around
Yeah.
about Christmas
Yeah, well, see
for,
the first.
for Make a Wish.
See the first, well, the 2 years ago, the layer one I couldn't make it to, and I was all set to come for the layer one this year, and then Christmas Day, no, Boxing Day evening, started throwing my guts up and sitting on the porcelain throne
It's the-
and couldn't make it,
it's
so
the-
I was gutted.
It's because
really
you didn't eat your
gutted.
turkey from Crawshaws. That's what it was.
I don't know where I had my turkey from, but yeah, it was not nice. But anyway, so really gutted about missing that. So.
So
you
there's
know,
obviously there's one. There's going to be as close to Boxing Day as we can get it. I think.
yeah, I think
Which
that's
is
what
cool.
Ash said. I think they're not sure when it's going to be this year, but details of that will come up.
Yeah.
Have we plugged just about everything, Steve? I think
Nerf
we might
Herder
have
next
done.
month.
Yeah, Nerf Herder next month, which I may have to try and work out getting tickets for. And
Coles. I'll talk to you about that. Off,
yeah,
off
we'll
air.
sort that
Yeah,
out.
we'll sort that out. I think there's a couple of guys from here that have dropped because of family stuff. So there may be some.
Check out Rasta's Patreon.
Has he got a Patreon?
He has got a Patreon. He does talk about it occasionally.
Does he?
You know, yeah, you know, but check it out. It's very good.
They've just rescheduled the buy-ins on that. So what you get for a $2 month,
Okay, well,
$5
if you know
month,
about
$10
that,
month,
then-
$20 month.
We might get him in to
And,
talk about it, unless
Believe
you
it or
know.
not, right, check this out. $10 a month gets you a custom made dial cover.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so
Dial cover.
right. Okay, so we do need to talk about this because I don't know how much is out there and how much is known. So I'll keep it brief. But if any of you watched the stream from the UKTC, you might have noticed Sim using some custom dial covers. That's another Fang Fighter gone. It's not looking good for Shane at all. you might have seen him using some custom dial covers, and that is a project that Rasta's working on, and they look amazing. They look so good. Just check out that video. Check out those. I won't say any more than that.
So what's been put out on the Patreon already is that if you give $10 a month and watch his videos and all the content that gets you, and then you after 6 months of continual subscription, he will send you a custom dial cover, unpainted, so you can paint it all yourself. For $20 a month. He'll paint it for you, and he'll number it, and he'll send it.
And that is well worth the investment because they are stunning. Yeah, absolutely stunning.
The guy's just ridiculously good at anything he does.
Apparently so. Yeah, I mean, there's far too much talent in that man. He knows it as well. He knows it. Some
would say he lost the most amount. Excuse me. He lost the most amount of talent when he made his missus pregnant with Sim.
I don't think he lost it. I think he just replicated it.
Do you know what? I love the way, when Sim wins anything, right? Well, I love the way that Rasta just comes and goes, I made it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's true, he did. He definitely did.
No, but it kind of ties in with the things we're talking about the awesome sort of people we've got here.
Yeah.
The ethos that Rasta literally, he doesn't force on us, but he just wants us to be the premium place for X-Wing. In the country,
and he wants us to do that by being
being
as open as possible. Embracing the fact that we've all got personal lives and sharing that with each other. By being a family, raising a good family spirit here, and looking out for each other, and anybody else that wants to come down to the store. If you want to come down to the store, it isn't a clique. No. You guys come down and we'll chat to you. We'll play games against you. You'll be invited out to dinner. A lot of people have been invited to stay at Rasta's house, but that depends on the man himself.
And then we'll just talk about it behind your back.
Yeah, definitely. What? No, we don't do that.
That's what I do. That's what I do with you.
Well, I know you do that with me.
It's been a constant of my life for the last year.
Good. Well, I'm glad to know I'm having an effect on some shit. So.
It depends whether that's positive or negative, though, doesn't it?
Not really. I'm happy either way.
Do you know, I know we've been chatting, right? But what we've done is we have been watching the game. We have been kind of glancing at the game and seeing what's what. And for me, I think Shane's done well to last this long, if you like, considering. He's got PS1 ships and... I don't think Guri's done as much as maybe Guri...
I think if it was me, I think I'd have gone after Paylob as quick as possible, which Ian played very well, actually. His positioning behind that rock made that a hard thing for Shane to do.
Of course, yeah.
But I think I would have gone after Paylob as quickly as possible. So Paylob can only take one focus token, he can't take 4. It's just taking a point of damage from that rock.
Yeah, I think that's half points as well on that.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
That's 28 points for that.
Yeah, but like if you see Paylob across the board, like you need to take him out as quickly as you can, especially in a list like Shane's, and then try and mop up from there.
Forsaking all others, maybe.
Sorry, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get a shot on.
I am playing Paylob.
Oh, he's going to die first. So just spoilers. So he's not necessarily going to get shots on Guri or Tarok, and Tarok's going to get in his face and have Concord Dawn and a focus token and strip your focus token. So I would have been trying to either block Tarok or overshoot Tarok and just gone in straight for Paylob, really. Especially because he's the most fragile ship in Ian's list with no reposition other than that red boost. It's harder for him to get away, and if you can hit him with enough attacks, you can start pushing damage through. Or forcing him into evade actions, or get the use of L3 early.
So, Doddy D, I'm after a ticket for Sunday. If anyone can't go, hit me up. Best place for that dude would be to put that in the Warlords chat.
Yeah, come into the Warlords group. Come into the Weekend Warlords X-Wing group.
Yeah, on
Facebook.
And then what will happen? I know you've been in there and asked for like reserve list and stuff, but I'll be honest, Ash is as good as checking that as he is as making coffee, and that ain't good.
I'm drinking his coffee. His coffee's alright.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where's my coffee?
I paid for it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
That's probably the thing that's... Oh, that's it. The handshake.
Yeah, that is it. So Ian wins.
Ryan Randall, evening, ladies and gents.
Bit
Hi,
late, but
bit late,
evening.
but he's just tuned in time for the main
He
event.
has, yeah, for the main event. We've got 2 players on stream now that are, in the words of Ash, phenomenal players.
Yeah. Phenomenal
Up next
players.
for you. So
who's that?
I think it's me and you, Steve.
Oh, is it?
I think it is. I think it's me
Yeah,
and you.
I'm literally going to lose. So, thank you for tuning in for this first one on a Tuesday. It's Tuesday Fly Casual at Weekend Warlords. We're going to be doing this pretty much every Tuesday.
Wait. Oh, I thought Shane was about to do a magic trick.
Yeah, pick a
card, any card.
So the Weekend Warlords stream, please. Do you know what? If you like us, if you like what we're doing, just give us a share or a link to the Twitch page, or subscribe to Twitch, subscribe to YouTube. I have to do this bit of housekeeping, unfortunately.
Oh.
So if you've got an Amazon Prime account,
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
you get a free monthly Twitch Prime account subscription.
You do?
So if we would really love it if you would subscribe to our Twitch channel.
It's free, and if you enjoy what we do on a Tuesday night and at tournaments, just go on and use that subscription to subscribe to Weekend Warlords.
So what that does for us as Weekend Warlords and the team and things like that, it puts our streaming up higher on the search lists and things like that. So we're actually getting more exposure. And
higher than the Korean children playing Fortnite or whatever it is.
No,
Okay.
no, because you've got.
Don't bother then.
Yeah. So what we should do is we should. That's it. We should call it
Fortnite, Weekend Warlords, X-Wing.
Yeah,
videos.
Weekend Warlords
We'll propose
Fortnite
it
competition.
to Ash. We'll propose it to Ash.
Then what it is X-Wing.
We'll do it live from Korea.
It's brand new live.
Hi, PJ.
Hi, you come back and the game's over.
Is the boy asleep?
Yeah, hopefully he's gone down nice, and that'll be good. Nice peaceful night. Yeah. So Shane lost that one, and the final score was 200-58. So pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided.
Pretty one-sided, to be fair.
Yeah.
Coming up next, we've got 200-0. Tim Marsden's going to win.
I don't know about that.
He's playing me. But do you know what? Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Stay tuned in. I'll turn the microphone off in a minute and I'll go to the splash screen. But thanks for tuning in. We'll probably take about 10 or 15 minutes to set up, so we should be back, just after 8:30.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully you've enjoyed our waffling.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with anything that we've said, then that's your right to do so.
Yeah, just turn the
and our
volume down.
opinions may change
just
from week to week, so we may be agreeing with you next week, who knows?
Yeah, hoping to see Steve's full game. Oh, God.
Yeah, tune in.
No bloody pressure.
What's that?
No
a full
pressure,
game? Yeah, it'll be alright.
It'll be a full game.
Yeah, well, I'm renowned for being slow, PJ. So you've got a good, probably full hour and 15.
Do you know what? We got for an hour and a quarter without me mentioning that.
And that's very true.
You know.
You did actually. You've done very well. But however, I've just checked my wrist to check the time when I did you've got a full hour and 15. Like it was affected by a watch on my wrist. Also, that doesn't work across radio, and I'm not wearing a watch. So I'm not sure what was happening then.
And right at the beginning of the stream, just before we go, I did mention that Tim brought me a present back from UKTC.
Oh, I did, yeah.
And I'd just like to mention that piece of bubble wrap that you gave me, to say, do you know what, Steve? Here's some bubble wrap. This is what the trophy came in.
It did. I found it in my bag.
I'll treasure it forever.
Thank you. It's stress relief.
Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you on the stream.
Yes,
and you'll have
thank you very much,
Shane
everyone.
and Ian commentating on me and you. All right, little four-way
Kids could be
loving.
awake by 9:30.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
they do that, don't they?
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm out though tonight.
yeah, it's Mum's turn.
Mum's turn.
Right, catch you later, guys, and we'll see you soon.